Did you know that one of the most common gecko species kept in the country right now, not 30 years ago, they thought was extinct? That's right. Crested geckos in the 1990s, that was only about 30 years ago, they thought that these guys were extinct. They hadn't seen them in, I believe, several decades out in the wild in their native range, which is over in New Caledonia, over island off of Australia. These now, only 30 years later, not only have we found them living and thriving, they are one of the most commonly kept species of gecko in the country, if not in the world. These guys are very prolific, easily bred in captivity, thankfully. And now this is just another way that being a reptile keeper and keeping these guys has brought an animal that was thought to be extinct back into probably the millions right now. This is our female Dalmatian crested gecko. This is her enclosure. We're still working on it right now. These guys, if you can see, her little, they call it a frog butt. She has lost her tail a lot. They've actually never found one of these crested geckos in the wild with a intact tail. They're one of the species of gecko and lizard that actually cannot regrow. Let me get focus there. They actually cannot regrow their tail once they lose it. Once it's gone, it is gone forever. We don't really know why they can't regrow it, but it is where most geckos' tail is just that, it's a tail. Their tail is actually prehensile, meaning they can grasp and hold on to branches and vines and stuff when they're climbing through the trees with it. That may have something to do with why they cannot regrow their tails. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm not really sure another reason why they wouldn't be able to regrow their tails. But that is so. These guys are also really good to have bioactive enclosures with. You can see all those little springtails. These guys have multiplied like crazy since they've been down here. Yes, that is one of her eggs right there. It is an infertile egg, so I'm leaving it in there. The bugs in here will break it down, turn it back into nutrients, and it will go back into the soil to help the plants grow. It is part of the bioactive ecosystem in these bioactive enclosures. Crested geckos are fairly easy to keep. They actually like it cool, unlike most reptiles, like our dragons over here, who are sunning in a nice hot spot of about 110, 115 degrees. Over here, our crested geckos like it nice and cool. See, she does not. She has a light up there that is off at the moment. It is not a heat lamp. These guys like room temperature. They like it between 70 and 75 degrees during the day. It can drop down a little bit cooler in the evening time, but they will actually do poorly if they are kept too warm. They will die very quickly of the heat. They also like it very humid, which is why they have this substrate right here, some clay balls down at the bottom there, about 3-4 inches of soil, and then there's sphagnum moss. They do have a waterfall. Once it is running back here again, I have a little bit of maintenance to do on this enclosure, and her waterfall will be running again. She gets misted down a couple times a day just to keep that moisture level up. Up here is where her food goes. Her food goes in these little cups right here. Goes in there. It's just a powdered Pangea diet. Every once in a while, I will mix in, get some fresh fruits like mangoes and bananas, and they like in the wild they're gonna be eating those very over-ripened fruits like that. So I will take them and I will mash them up really good, turn them into a puree. She will devour those up too. They will also eat the occasional bug, so I do throw crickets and roaches in here for her every once in a while, which she will eat. Not sure if she climbs up that wall right there. They do have the ability to climb straight up glass, so she can climb straight up this wall right here. They have these little hairs on the bottom of their feet. On each of their toe pads, they have these hairs. So they have millions of these tiny little hairs on their toe pads, and that is actually what helps them to be able to climb up the glass. It helps them be able to stick to the glass as they're climbing up. In captivity, crested geckos have a lifespan of about 15 to 20 years or more, possibly. What do you think about crested geckos? Do you think it's an animal that you would like to keep someday? And let us know in the comments what animal you would like us to talk about next. Do you know of any animals that have been brought back from the brink of extinction that are now flourishing in captivity? Let us know down in the comments down below. We'll see you next time.